Wright State professor and relationship coach Carol Morgan joins us today to weigh in on the new crop of dating reality shows like the one on our NBC station, Love in the Wild. They're fun to watch, but could they potentially be harmful for your real-life relationships? So welcome, Carol.
Thank you. It's so fun to be back.
Yeah, definitely a touchy subject. I myself love the dating shows, but we're learning that there may be some negative effects also, right?
Well, you know, adults like us who watch it, we can laugh at it, we can make fun of it. In fact, I just talked to a friend of mine, she was talking about one of them and making fun of all the people on there. So we as adults can find it humorous and entertaining. But it's really the younger kids, I think, that we have to worry about, especially if you have, you know, say a 12-year-old girl watching it or a 13-year-old girl. Because there's so many stereotypes in there. You know, you have the traditional, like, emotional woman who's a little crazy and only wants the man, and then you have, like, for the men, you have the competitive, aggressive ones, and so, and then the gender roles that they also express too, like the men being the ones in power, even on, like, some of the shows like The Bachelorette, or there's one called The Bachelorettes in Alaska, like many years ago. They were supposedly in power because they were choosing, but ultimately at the end, the men are the ones who decide to propose or not. And so there are a lot of these hidden messages, really, that are probably not such good messages to be getting, especially young girls. So the gender roles and the stereotypes probably are a little dangerous. It's okay, though, if you watch it with your kids.
And I was going to ask, if you are watching these with your children, what sort of conversations need to be had before or after the shows to sort of clear up any stereotypes or gender roles that may be suggested to your children?
Yeah, well, you know, everybody has their own views of what stereotypes and gender roles should be. I mean, some people are just more stereotypical in their behavior than others. Like, I tend to not be very stereotypical. I'm somewhere in the middle. But, you know, if you're like me and you don't want to have your daughters or your sons be very stereotypical, you can just, you know, watch along with them. It's pretty simple. It's just to say, hey, you know, what they're doing is wrong. I watch, not the dating shows with my sons, but I watch some other shows. And I use it as a teaching tool, really, to say, hey, this behavior isn't so good. Or so if there's some crazy woman making a big deal of something, say, you know, this is not the proper way to behave, don't you think?
So it's just about having the conversation.
Yeah, and it's pretty simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the hardest things to do. Because a lot of parents are just so busy with everything that they don't really sit down with their kids and watch it with them. So that's really
now, I was watching, I hate to admit that I was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians the other day, and they were having an issue. Courtney was upset with Scott because he wasn't romantic enough. They were watching a show and he wasn't romantic like that. And he's like, are you serious? This is TV. Ironic because they were on TV. But do you think that it does give unrealistic expectations for our adult relationships also?
I think so. I teach this in my gender class too. We talk about how fairy tales, I mean, we grew up with Disney movies, with just books or just romantic comedies that we watch of movies, and that really gives that happily ever after feeling. You know, like it's possible, like my prince will come and my knight in shining armor, even something like Pretty Woman. It's an older movie, but you know, here you have a prostitute and a billionaire, and then they end up together. That actually wasn't the original ending to the movie either.
What was the original?
It was that they didn't end up together, and when they did the testing, the audiences hated it. So
they want the happy ending.
So they had to reshoot the ending to make the happy ending. So I think a lot of these dating shows really give like this fantasy of flitting off to London and around the world and these great exotic dates, and you know, that's kind of what we all want, but it really isn't reality. And let's face it, a lot of people don't end up together in the long run anyway.
So you check in 3 months from the show.
They're all broken up, except for I think maybe 2 of the Bachelor and Bachelorettes ended up marrying the person.
Well, good tips for talking to, you know, the children and making sure that they understand those stereotypes.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Carol, very much.